Oh, honey, is there something more you want to say?
Well, I was thinking about cows.
Cows now!
I was thinking about cows, and I was thinking about how I saw these cows on Friday. So last Friday, I flew to Wisconsin, got in my car, and drove out to my parents' house, okay? Mm-hmm. And there's this incredible stretch where, and you'll know it, because when you're getting like close-ish to town where they live, or, Turtle Lake, all of a sudden on your left, you come across this farm where there's like a grove, I guess, of trees that look like they had been in a fire, right?
Okay.
Like they'd been burned. Mm-hmm. But so there are these like incredible shapes of trees still standing, but are like black almost. Mm-hmm. And they're just really unique looking. And the farm has cows that graze amongst these trees. Do you remember that place? It's so incredible.
Yeah.
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 It's kind of near Amory.
Yes, exactly.
As you're heading the roads out there, because this is the countryside, so they're kind of like they run north, south, east, west, straight, pretty much. There's not a lot of meandering roads. It's like...
Right.
And Wisconsin has roads they're named by the letters. So there's like D, double D. Interesting. Just saying. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, because when you see it, it's
kind of striking. It's
striking, right? Mm-hmm. And so every time I see it, I think, oh, if only I were a professional art photographer or something, like what I would give to spend time capturing these cows in these trees. For some reason, it just kills me, because there's something about it that it's emotional to me, right? So I'm just thinking about that and going, gosh, I wonder, where would you even go? Like, could you pull over on the side of the road? Would it be okay to go in this land? So I was having all of these thoughts go through my mind. Like,
would I get shot?
Yeah, that could happen too. I mean, listen, it's Wisconsin, guys. So, I was sort of like pondering different things that interested me. Like, I was almost seeing them like pictures in my mind, like, gosh, I wish I could capture that. Gosh, wish I could capture that. And it was unique for me because I haven't driven at sunset in, I don't even know how long.
Crepuscular.
Yes. So I got to drive as the sun was going down, and it was wild. I got to just see the drive and the farms and everything in this kind of beautiful pink and purple light across the farmland. And then I also had the realization this was maybe the first year of my entire life that I have seen that drive for an entire season through. I have been going there every month since October. I have not missed a month. So October, November, December, January, February, March. I was there for fall and winter, and now spring is going to be around the corner, right? And I just was like, whoa, I've never really driven through and done this ever in my life.
This is a drive that you did as a child?
Often. It was where my grandparents lived. So my parents are in the home that was my grandparents' retirement home on Turtle Lake in Wisconsin. So it's my family, my mom's family settled there. So that's why they were there. And I grew up in the Twin Cities, and we would drive to see my grandparents and to spend time out there. It's an hour and a half from Twin Cities to their doorstep, basically. And so I've done this drive so much. But anyway, I was having all these like really interesting kind of picture moments, and I got to see 2 sandhill cranes, which are kind of unique. They're these beautiful gray cranes that seem to come in pairs. I got to see them out in a field.
They're like extremely drab flamingos.
They're beautiful, though.
They're beautiful.
They're so elegant with
birds,
their neck.
The thing is with birds, if you think a bird, you're like, well, that's not a very exciting color of a bird. But then if you see it up close, you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
it's like pheasants or turkeys. I think turkeys are an amazing example of this. They look kind of like a, ungainly kind of ugly bird. But then when you actually see how the colors are
they
actually
shine
incredible.
There's like reflections. It's metallic. You're right.
It's like this shiny metallic.
It is.
And it's beautiful. And there's just so many different shades of it. And so, I should not, when I say drab flamingo, I'm just saying.
No, I know what you mean though. 'Cause it is, it's like a deep gray, right?
Yes, and it sort of matches the landscape.
Yes. And it's just so interesting. And so I was really enjoying this drive and pondering it and thinking about, oh, wow, odd, here I am now. And I did the later flight because it was spring. And so I knew that I wouldn't be driving in the dark. I have a hard time doing that drive in the dark because I'm because I can. I don't have that great eyesight. And so, oh my gosh, I didn't even get to tell you. So yes, just like if you read my Substack post, I wrote about my flight. We could do a link to it. So your description of turbulence and the feelings, the mortality that one goes through, the stories that one tells in your head while turbulence is happening. Oh my God.
How you are coping with it. Well done.
Thanks. It was
honestly,
horrible. I'm not going to lie. I hated that flight so much. It was one of the roughest ever. And So, and when I was describing on the post saying like, and then I'll be driving and I'll be passing deer and things like that, it's all true. There I was passing like countless dead deer on the side of the road and me, counting my blessings like, whew, let's hope I don't have to dodge a deer, So I didn't encounter any live deer on the drive there, but Tuesday morning, just this week, Tuesday, when I drove back. So it was 6:30 in the morning. Oh, I'm getting a funny thumbs up on my screen. Funny. It's like, I don't know why it does that. Happen? It's so goofy. Anyway, so I'm doing this drive and then I got to see the sun come up.
Oh.
And 2 things. I'll try to wrap it up. As I was driving there and I saw the cows, I saw a dead deer. I was thinking, oh, someday I want to take these pictures and just sort of marveling at me doing this drive often. And there were certain things I was enjoying seeing at sunset. And then I had my visit. It was incredible and challenging, all at once. But when I left, I had different information. And so I drove past those cows, just thinking, I won't always really drive by these cows. Maybe this won't be a family home forever. That might change. And it kind of changed how everything looked.
Wow. I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so on the way there too.
Not that you were taking that drive or have ever taken the drive for granted.
Right.
But you were really struck that there might be a last time.
Yes, exactly. And like we always like to say, you never know when the last time will be, right, of anything.
Yeah, like specifically, I think of that as a father.
Exactly.
Like, the last time that
you never know when the last time
you put them to bed.
Yeah, and they'll let me snuggle with them, or
yeah.
Last
time you give them a bath. That stuff.
Yeah, right.
It's heavy when you think about it.
It is heavy, and I think it is a good reminder, though, to kind of like pull yourself back in the middle of rushing to live our life, to stop and sit in those moments and go, oh, here's that moment. Because I don't know when the last time will be. And interestingly, so on my drive there, I was driving by dead deer, quite a few. That's normal. And Tuesday morning when I was leaving, I was just coming up the drive, like from their place, and getting to the top of the hill near Moltz's farm. And all of a sudden, this beautiful face is like poking out right at the side of the road. And it's like the sun is just starting to creep up. And so I see this outline. It's a deer, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, gosh, I better slow down. There could be some deer wanting to cross right now, And then sure enough, we like did this kind of exchange, the deer and I, we did this like look. Mm-hmm. That's the weird thing about deer, right? Where when they're on the side of the road, like they look at you, they actually look at you, and there's this pause where you're holding this time with them. And it's like this decision has to be made. Either I'm going to keep driving and you're going to, who knows, right? But so I slowed down because I didn't know. I assumed the deer would stay on the side of the road. They didn't. It then kind of like crept out looking at me the whole time. Like
are you stopping?
Yeah. Are you going to stop? Are you going to stop? Are you going to stop? And I'm like, geez, I guess I better stop. So I did, and then he kind of kept looking at me, and then he looked back, and so then I looked at Moltz's farm, and there I saw like 10 beautiful deer.
Oh.
It was like a whole family crossing together, and they all looked at me like it was the other side. That one deer had made it to the other side and looked back to them, like, and I don't know, there was something so fucking like real about it, where I was like experiencing their anxiety in this moment, and then like them trying to find their way to freedom, and and so then I thought, do I go fast and they're gonna kind of then all pass behind me? So I sort of sped up a little bit, and then they sped up to almost like meet me in the road, and I thought, my God, I don't want to call you dumb, but I would hit you, you silly deer. Like, don't do that, right? That's not smart. And so then I realized that every time I kept like accelerating, so we were doing this weird dance in the road, they kept like meeting me, almost to like hit the car. And I'm thinking, I don't know what to do right now. So then I thought, okay, I'm just going to stop, and then maybe they'll keep going. So then I did. I stopped. And then they slowly then all made their way. They didn't run. There was no hurry. They weren't like, this lady's got to get to her plane, whatever. But it was a kind of an incredible moment, where I just sat there and then watched them all kind of totter across the road and keep going on their way in the field. And they were so beautiful. And it was really neat. So
you saved that story for me.
Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, because I've had a lot on my mind, but
there's plenty to talk about.
There's plenty to talk about, but I wanted to share that with you, just that, this feeling, of like living in the present and trying to slow down and just be in those moments. And I have to say, I have been experiencing them in such a incredible, full-bodied way that, as painful as it is like a gift every single time I say goodbye to my mom. When she stands and she looks at me, it's like we are looking into each other's souls. And she just kind of nods. And I'm like, yeah. I think, holy shit. This is it. This moment, we're holding it together. And it sucks because I know it's not going to always be there. But I don't know when it'll end, you know? But I am so grateful that I get to see her, and I know that something profound is happening for her too when we hold that time together and we're looking at each other before I leave. I just know it. It goes beyond words. And yeah, it's an incredible experience, I have to say. It's the hardest thing I've ever gone through, and the most just profound as well. It's like love beyond love, you know?